Hello everyone, this is Susie Beiler, and in this video today I'll be channeling Prime Creator to get more information about the events of September and the concepts surrounding the events of September.
If a soul is perfect and whole and complete, eternal, why does it grow?
Dear ones, you have an understanding about growth, and so it is difficult to understand this concept, because a soul's growth is not like the growth that you think about when you think about growing. Yes, a soul is eternal and complete and perfect and whole. And there is this concept of expansion and evolution and more. And so as a soul progresses, it does, in a sense, expand and get bigger, as you might say. Does this answer your question, dear one?
How is it that experiences in life cause that for the soul?
Yes. As we talked a little bit before, as a soul comes into density or into a human form, there is that opportunity for the soul to gain more experience in other realms, in other dimensions. And because of these experiences, the soul can then expand or evolve. I wish I could give this channel better words to describe how this actually happens for a soul, but these are the best words that you have in your vocabulary, dear one.
Is Gaia affected by what people are doing on Earth right now, or is it affecting the hologram?
What is actually happening, dear one, is that the choices that humans are currently making are not affecting Gaia as she was. And yes, because she is becoming a star, it is not affecting her starship. What is being affected is the new DNA Earth, because it is a merge, so to speak, of the old Earth or the old Gaia with the new DNA Earth. The choices that are being made now are in some ways affecting the new DNA Earth. Does this answer your question, dear one?
So will only certain effects be carried over to the new DNA Earth?
In a sense, yes. If you recall the conversation about polarity and duality, you remember that polarity will only be experienced by those who hold it in their mental consciousness. But in truth, there will not be polarity on the new DNA Earth as you know it now. And so the actions that humans are currently taking affect the new DNA Earth in their own mental consciousness. So in a sense, the new DNA Earth is a clean slate. It is a fresh energy. There are new energies that will be there that are not currently on the Earth that you experience. And so what is carried over or merged into the new DNA Earth is what each one holds and carries. So each soul that is going to the new DNA Earth and not into a different dimension, each soul will carry certain codes in their human form, certain codes in their human DNA. And as they go into the new DNA Earth, it will still be up to them to work these things out. And so in the transition, some will completely rearrange these codes, and some will still have that inner work to do with their inner growth.
Will the energies and interactions people share on the new DNA Earth affect Gaia after the shift? Or is it totally separate?
As you recall, Gaia is becoming a star, and so all the energies of your current experience of this planet will be burned. It is like a karmic release. And so what happens on the new DNA Earth will be a very different experience than what your current Gaia is experiencing.
Some experience that white light permeates all things. Is this simply a perception from human experience, or is it fundamental nature of being?
I will do my best to describe this through our channel, as these are concepts that she is not intellectually familiar with. White light is, as we described the soul in an earlier conversation, white light is. And so in truth it does permeate everything. It is partially your perception, and it is partially what happens. White light White light, in a sense, is the substance of creation. So it is more than what you see or sense. It is that initial spark, and it is the energy that carries forth creation. It is like a beginning energy, that spark that ignites, and it is also what carries forth creation, because creation is constantly occurring. The white light is always at work in its ignition, in its initial sparks. Would you like to ask a clarifying question, dear one?
Does this mean white light is outside of time?
Yes, dear one.
And does this mean that the speed of light changes in experience with physicality of time and space?
Yes and no. Yes, because it is your perception, and no, because white light just is, and it is always constant. However, you may experience it as not being constant because of your relationship to time and space.
There was some different origin stories, and one of them referred the Hebrews first coming to Earth in the days of Atlantis. Is there truth in this, or clarity to this?
Moses had a close relationship with the Atlantean energy, in a sense being a descendant of Atlantis. The Hebrews were a separate starseed than the Atlanteans. And they did work together in many ways to create, to work with technologies, to work with sacred information that you are now opening up to, information that has been secretive in many ways before now. Kabbalic information. information about codes of your DNA. They work together in all of these aspects, dear one. Do you have any more questions about that?
How did they arrive here? Was it by teleporting?
The Hebrews or Atlanteans?
The Hebrews.
The Hebrews came in from another galaxy on ships, using high technology that in a sense may be perceived as teleporting to your current understanding. But it was more than that in some ways, because there was physicality to their arrival as well.
When you mention starseed, does that mean that they're of the same species from a different place?
Same species as?
Humans, here on Earth, in our origin.
Again, this is your current understanding of species and how things have been perceived here on Earth makes this conversation a bit tricky. So the Hebrews are, or were in that time, a little different than the human species. However, close enough that there could be that relationship between humans and the starseed Hebrews. You would probably not call them the same species in your current understanding. However, they were humanoid enough to create a merge with the species that they encountered upon their arrival.
What star system did they arrive from?
It is one that the channel does not know. Give me a bit of time. Let me see if I can clear her mind so that I can give her the information. It is to the left of the Andromeda. And the name of the star system is Araka or Arcana. Something of this nature. That is the best I can give you with this channel at this time, dear one.
What is the truth about the story of the fall from the Garden of Eden?
You have called the beings involved in this experience Adam and Eve, and so I will use these names to cater to your understanding. This story is when polarity was first introduced into your reality, dear ones. Before this time, all was one unity consciousness. There was not an understanding of duality or polarity. And the free will that you experienced was your heaven. It was beautiful. There was peace within and in your external environment. What happened in this experience with Adam and Eve was the chance for the soul to expand and grow, as we discussed earlier. And so polarity was introduced as an option to experience. And Adam and Eve chose to experience this option. And when I say Adam and Eve, I am referring to all beings. that chose to embrace polarity and experiment with that concept and that experience. Adam and Eve refers to a collective that was present on the planet at the time. And most beings at the time chose to experience polarity. The ones who did not choose that experience evolved into a different dimension eventually. And all who chose to experience polarity then created this great experiment that is about to come to an end in September of 2015. Is there more information you would like about this, dear one?
In the story, it was mentioned that Lucifer was a great deceiver in this. Is Lucifer one who helped create polarity?
Lucifer did not create polarity, but he was the light bearer who brought in that option. And so Lucifer has been considered the devil or Satan by many because he was the one who volunteered and was chosen to offer this to humanity. And so he has been the scapegoat in a sense. However, Lucifer is a great being of light. He is my child, and he opted to carry out this role, this great experiment that has been going on for eons of time. The deceiver is not Lucifer. The deceiver has been yourselves in your perception of polarity and stepping away from one unity consciousness.
So would the veil be considered that part of that deception energy?
In a way, yes. As humanity embraced polarity, the veil to one unity consciousness came into existence, separating you from the truth of your light, the truth of the unity of who you are in your humanity.
It was mentioned that the total free will idea on Earth was convoluted. Was this done by other beings?
Yes, many were involved in this experiment. Part of what we just talked about with Lucifer and polarity. You created your own convolution. There were also agendas by many beings in other galaxies and in your own galaxy. You see, Earth has been a great experiment, and so many beings wanted to come here, wanted to be a part of the experiment. For some, it was playing around just to see what would happen, not understanding the consequences and how it would impact souls. For some, there was a dark agenda, if you will, the shadow, as you call it. Keeping in mind, dear ones, that all is of the light, because even the shadow shows where there is opportunity for souls to expand beyond that. And so many got confused and many got trapped or stuck in a false reality of this darkness. But it has always been surrounded and immersed and contained in great light.
What will the event in September look like? Visually, feelings, any sort of outward sensations?
Dear ones, it will be different according to each one's perception. For some, it will be a sigh of relief as great amounts of light come in to assist you in your transition. For those who hold much fear in their being, it will be a little more jarring. They may experience more density and more traumatic experiences. Experiences such as fire, such as thickness and darkness. For those who have released the fear from their beings, great amounts of peace will be felt. Great amounts of light will be integrated. In the days leading up to the big event, as you might call it, things will increase in your perception of polarity, meaning there will be much chaos on one hand and deep abiding peace on the other. And it is each one's choice as to what they experience. Those who choose to release all fear shall experience the deep abiding peace. Those who choose to hold on to their fear will experience chaos and more fear. As this polarity is amplified and each one makes their choice, there will then be a short time where all comes back into oneness. And in this moment in time, a great amount of love and light shall enter your atmosphere and enter your beings. Even those who have chosen chaos will experience this great light, and they may misunderstand it and experience fear from that light, but all shall receive the light. It will come in very quickly. It will be what you might call dramatic because of the speed and the intensity. However, it will be this light that assists you in your transitions into your chosen dimensions. After this light comes in, you will each go into your chosen dimensions, and the current Gaia will ignite in the fires of her starship. Thus, she will then be becoming her star, and the new DNA Earth will be in full capacity, ready to receive all souls who choose to stay in that dimension. Do you have any more questions about this, dear one?
Are most people going to be aware before the event or just during?
All beings will be aware on some level that something is occurring, that a great shift is happening. Some will not experience conscious awareness. Those of you, such as the beings watching this video and beings who have been communicating with me in the hierarchy, will understand exactly what is happening. And so again, there will be much variation in perception. However, all will know that life is changing. It will be obvious, dear one.
As the event approaches, are people integrating more and more of their parallel selves?
Yes, dear one.
And does this assist in their awareness?
Their awareness of?
The coming event.
For some.
Does one have to consciously be aware of the event to experience it?
No, dear one. All will experience the event.
And will they consciously know whether they have transitioned out of this dimension, this third dimensional type experience?
Most will understand that a great shift has occurred. Some will not yet have that mental consciousness developed around these concepts and will not understand what kind of change has occurred. They will just notice that there has been a great disruption in their lives, and they will continue on the new DNA Earth, where there will be much more opportunity for them to assimilate the light and the love and the energies of these concepts.
If they are consciously aware they have transitioned, will they know where they are in time, space, and dimension? Or are they simply in a new experience?
They will be in the new experience with an awareness that they are in a different experience, but they will not immediately understand what has occurred.
If their conscious awareness remains in this dimension, does that mean they have not ascended?
Again, the word ascension has perceptions in your understanding, not all of which are true. And so, depending on your definition of ascension, this will not be a conscious ascension for these beings that we are talking about. Although in some ways it will be an ascension because they are ascending into a higher frequency contained on the new DNA Earth.
What percentage of humans will transition out of physical experience on Earth in September?
This has not yet been determined, dear one, as not all have made their choice at this time.
Is there a current percentage who have made their choice?
About 35% have made their choice.
And of those, how many are choosing to transition out of physical experience on Earth?
About 10%. Of the whole, to clarify, dear one.
Thank you. For those staying in physical experience here on Earth, how similar will the experience be for them?
This will depend upon their mental consciousness and how quickly they allow themselves to upgrade to the new frequencies of the new DNA Earth.
Is the new DNA Earth larger with more land and ocean?
The new DNA Earth will be, yes, larger than your current experience of Gaia. The proportion of land to ocean is about the same. And this is to allow for a smooth transition from Gaia to the new DNA Earth.
Since quite a few souls are transitioning out of physical experience on Earth, will people notice there are less people on the planet?
Most people will not notice much of a difference, dear one. As you may have noticed in your current reality, most people are in their own experience and do not hold an expanded awareness of life around them. And so as time goes on the new DNA Earth, they may begin to experience and see more of what is occurring around them and understand that there are fewer people. But for most, in the beginning of their new experience on the new DNA Earth, they will not notice that fewer people are on the planet.
Will the view of the stars at night be different?
Yes, dear one. On the new DNA Earth, those who choose to go to that dimension will see brighter stars, more stars, and the stars will appear closer in their reality.
Will the distance between planets be different?
Yes, dear one, there will be some shifting with the planets and the distances. It will not be anything dramatic or anything that you sense, so to speak. Scientists and people oriented to measuring distances and understanding these experiences will be much more tuned into this and will be offering the new measurements for humanity to receive.
Will certain species of life that we see on Earth now be remembered as mythical beings on the new DNA Earth, or will there just be a continuous memory as though they had simply gone extinct?
In a sense, dear one, yes, your dear friend Cassia has mentioned this, that animals such as dolphins and whales perhaps will be remembered as mythical creatures. This is difficult to explain in the channel's language. I will do my best through her. Animals such as dolphins, whales, and some other sea creatures especially, will still be present on the new DNA Earth. However, they will be in a form that is not perceptible to the eyes of most of the humans on the new DNA Earth. And so some will still see these creatures. Some will see them more in solid form. Some will see them more as visions. Some will recall them as memories. And some will not see them at all and not even have the memory of these creatures. It is an interesting perception of things, dear one. It is an interesting unfolding of how things will shift with these creatures. But many have chosen in their souls to go home, back to the dimension from which they came. And so some are willing to still come into physical form for the perception of those who still wish to see them. But most of these souls shall return to their homes.
Would remains such as skeletons still be variable based on each perception?
Skeletons of
Dolphins and whales and such.
There shall be no remains, dear one.
Will people who experience the new DNA Earth still experience close ones, like close relatives that they had here before the transition, would they experience them as projection or just as energy?
You are referring to those who are dematerializing?
Yes. And, well, the people who remain on the new DNA Earth, would they have a continued experience with siblings or parents that transitioned out?
Yes.
As far as projections.
Yes, dear one, this will be variable again according to the state of mental consciousness of each one, according to the path chosen by the one who has dematerialized. You see, there are many variables because some who are dematerializing are going back to source and are not meant to come back into physical form. Some who are dematerializing are traveling throughout time and space and will have the choice and option to come back into physical form from time to time. And those who stay in physical form, some will have the advanced mental consciousness and psychic consciousness to see their departed loved ones, and some will not yet be at that level of evolution and will experience their departed loved one as simply gone from their experience. And yes, they will have the memory of their loved one. And over time, they will gain the understanding of what happened to their loved one.
So would this remaining connection affect the person that departed?
It will not affect them in a way that limits or inhibits them. Is this what you are asking, dear one?
Yes.
The one who is departing is completely free and unlimited in their experience because they have gotten to that soul level to dematerialize, and thus because they are at this frequency and this evolutionary state, they are free in their experience and have no limitations or inhibitions such as what might be experienced by someone who passes away through what you call death and needs to continue their spiritual journey on the other side. This is a completely different experience, dear one.
It was mentioned that there are 3 mass transitions and that the one in September is the first. Is this simply going to be a single transition, or will there be future transitions on the new DNA Earth?
This transition occurring in September is the main event, as you might say. There will be other opportunities for transition and ascension and evolution on the new DNA Earth. However, it will not be at all like this event in September. It will not be of such great magnitude or such great intensity. These opportunities on the new DNA Earth will be gentler, easier, and of smaller capacity.
And will this eventually include all life on Earth to fully transition?
Yes, of course, dear one, as all souls are constantly evolving and expanding, as we spoke of earlier. It is an ever-continuing process and journey, dear one.
And is there anything else Prime Creator would like to share with those watching this video?
Dear ones, I cannot express it with enough magnitude how much I love you, how much I cherish each and every one of you. And I ask you, as you begin to assimilate the energies of the September event, I invite you to lay down your fears. Allow yourselves to merge into your soul path. Allow yourselves to feel the light and be rejuvenated, to feel the love and be restored into your wholeness and into the remembering of who you are. It is from this remembering of who you are that you shall transition with ease and peace. This is what you have been longing for, dear ones. Embrace this experience with all of your heart, with every aspect of your being. It is time. It has been long awaited by each of your souls. And I am here to guide you through it. Thank you, dear ones. I love you. Thank you, dear ones. I love you. I'll see you in the next video.